electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-213-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which is the state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified installers, and insurance preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HNHroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
This is On the Block with Drinkin' Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
He's going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Maryland's Food for the Soul. This is Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it on Strick's favorite day of the week. What is it today, Stricky?
Thursday.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
We are about 2.5 hours away from that. So hold your horses. That'll come up during Old School. We're on the block. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. If Megan waves her left hand, you can see she's in here as well. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's, like the open set, 27th and Pine Lake in that little strip mall there. Nice location, beautiful location, easy to get to. Just a couple simple left turns to deliciousness. Straight up deliciousness. It's back open through the weekend. Lunch buffet, Southern Sweet Heat wings, sides. Try it all.
I was out yesterday, and there was a purpose and a reason to that. There's still soreness running through my jawline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to hinder me from taping, and not taping, but tapping in on some of the chicken wings that I really want to bite down on.
Steph Carroll put it in a blender for
I'm
you.
going to wait a little. Man, that would be quite tasty. Yeah, it's going to take me a second, but trust and believe I'm going out to Mary Ellen's real soon.
You should as well. You'll see Stricky there.
I'm just hoping I can get rid of this pain in the jaw. That's all.
Yeah, how you feeling today? Any
little sore today. They gave you some good stuff to kind of try to mitigate and stay ahead of it, but we'll see.
Is this okay? Level of soreness. Is this like after an average game? After you played a physical team? Where does that rank on your post game soreness?
Yeah, I would say just after a back-to-back.
Okay.
Just sore, throbbing, kind of just in the zone a little bit, like, mush mind, what I would say sometimes, just feeling like that. Like you're trying to keep your mind off of it, but you're sore and you got to get up for shoot around and because you got another game that night, that kind of feeling.
Are you the most sore early in the season, late in the season, mid-season, when it just feels like the season's dragging on?
Well, I think by mid-season, there's two things that you're anticipating. One, you're anticipating the All-Star break where you just kind of get a little time to woo-saw and decide on if you want to take a trip somewhere or you just want to get away. It's got to be short, though. Or you go to the All-Star game and just kind of fellowship with guys, but just kind of take your mind off basketball because you're not participating in it in any form. So you have some of that time. And then by the end of the season, if you're making a playoff push and a run, it gets pretty intense. So you kind of get ramped up a little bit. The games get real, more meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it just depends on kind of where you're sitting do you have an opportunity to move up? Are you cool where you're at? Then you can kind of relax a little bit because you're kind of set on where you're going to be and prepare your mind for the playoffs. So, yeah, it's just one of those type of things.
If you are listening or watching right now, more likely you found us on our stream brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter are the outlets for that, as well as Allo Channel 951. If you're on social media, you can comment. It pops across our screen. We see it. If you are more comfortable texting, 402-464-5685. We will need you to call in about half an hour. We'll play the shootout with Strick, even though we're on stream, and there will be $30 Buffalo Wings and Rings available for you. Strick, the basketball and the soreness, I think, is a great lead into our first topic of the day. I wanted to run this one past you. You played basketball, not slam ball. We talked about a little bit at the end of Happy Hour with Nick and Rico. But it crossed my Twitter feed when Marshawn Lynch tried to dunk. This man jumped on the trampoline a few times, kind of flailed around, and I thought he was about to snap his left knee in half. Like, that landing was so bad. Like, Marshawn Lynch is a former pro athlete. Like, that dude's an athlete. Might not always look like it, as big and portly as he is, but that was an athlete. Beast mode. We know what Marshawn Lynch can do. But you take him out of his element on the football field and even just move him to a trampoline, it's crazy how out of place he looked there.
I mean, that is the thing. I tell people that all the time. It's tough to whatever you do well at. Like, for example, there are a lot of people that are couch potatoes and guys who are Monday night quarterback or like what's the word
armchair
they call
quarterback?
It? Yeah, armchair quarterbacks, and you got kitchen GMs and stuff like that, right? Everybody in some form or fashion believes that they can do it. It's totally different when the lights turn on and you're trying to step in another element. This is why when I go and play golf, I've learned that I don't get as frustrated as I used to, because I haven't perfected it to the point, because I don't practice it to that same level that others do. There are other NBA athletes and other NFL athletes. They practice. They get out there and put extra time in and, work on certain shots. I actually can play pretty well for not practicing. That's probably the athletic side of me. But when I miss putts that are 5 feet, 8 feet, I look at the pros and I see them missing those same putts 4 feet. And then I get excited. I'm like, well, dang. They're just like me. They're human. They miss too, right? But then it's tough, depending on what the sport is. It would be tough for me to jump on a tennis court and then say that I don't care if it's Serena Williams, that I can return her serve. It gets worse when you're talking about going with Federer or somebody like that, because you're talking about the speed of the serve, and like it's. They're tremendously gifted to be able to do those types of things, right? That's their realm. That's where they spend their time. Same thing would be no different in any other sport. Like, I think I could be an okay defender because I got pretty good footwork if I'm playing soccer, but the footwork that some offensive guys like Messi and those guys, the time that they put in to be that good, there's no way that I could jump out there and do that, right? So that's why I say jumping in the slam ball, just because it is a trampoline, it's something that most of us don't get on in most instances. Some people have them in their backyard. I didn't have the pleasure to do that. I would say that it would probably be difficult to me to do it. Just like when those guys are talented in doing the halftime game things on those trampolines, jumping, you've seen people try to do that and they fall flat on their face. It's because it's techniques involved to doing that type of stuff. I could never go out and do a dive in swimming. I can never, so know your lane, know what you're good at. But then as far as athletes are concerned, there's other things that we can do okay, but we still struggle at.
One thing you mentioned as we were talking about this before the show was guys get scared. They're not used to being up that high. Like, I don't know if Marshawn Lynch has ever gotten up 10, 11 feet in the air like he was. Is there anything like that feeling of your first dunk or getting up that high? What's it like? How do you get used to that?
My first dunk was in 8th grade. My first actual dunk was in 7th grade with the volleyball, because I could hold it.
Yeah.
And I ended up trying out for track and did something that I couldn't do and ended up breaking a record for it. I think that record still stands. I don't know how, but it still stands at Mission Junior High. I went out and ran track and, jumped like, I want to say it was like almost 6'5".
In the high jump?
In the high jump.
Woo,
something
tricky.
like that.
Get up.
I have to look at it, but it's something like, but I was able to do that at a young age, and my technique sucked. Like, I was just leaping over the bar. I didn't have that super arch like some of those guys have where they arch their back and it just goes over real pretty. I just was powering over the joint, right? Same thing with shot put. They just said, hey, try this. And, I didn't have the greatest technique, but I had enough technique and, ended up breaking a record, slinging it out there pretty well. And then, long jump, that record got broke, and I'm glad about it. But that's just because I was athletic. Doing the same thing with wrestling. Wasn't super gifted. Knew a little bit of technique. Went out there and ended up winning in 8th grade wrestling. Just sometimes you can cross over by using certain skills, using my speed, using the power, using those types of things to enable me to the disadvantages of the technique that I may lose at. And that's where that kind of consists.
Yeah, you mentioned that crossover. Let's say you're walking through, I don't know, Rucker Park, the local Y, and you see a bunch of football players or a bunch of baseball players playing pickup hoops. What are some of those skills that translate that you're like, okay, yeah, I can see the athleticism? And what are the things that non-basketball athletes struggle with most often on the basketball court?
What you see what most players I think that are non-basketball players could do if they're an athlete is dunk, because they're going to have verticals where it's just they're just going to power up there and dunk the ball, right?
That explosiveness aspect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You footwork, definitely for DB. So defensively, you can see some translation there. What you'll see for like baseball players or guys like that, there'll be a cerebral aspect to them where they're kind of surveying the land, seeing what guys are doing and what they're trying to accomplish, where guys are strong at. You'll kind of get those type of observations probably from a baseball guy. You also get the physical aspect from from football guys, where they'll put more body on you, more shoulder on you. They'll lean on you a little bit more and try to use their physicality parts. This is why I think basketball was good for me, is because I used every aspect of the sports that I played and loved and incorporated that into my basketball game, right? So that's what
the
made
physicalness from football, hitting people, the vision and the thinking ahead to play point guard from baseball.
Yeah. The cerebral and thinking multiple steps ahead, seeing what they're doing. Play recalls are also tremendous as well. But on top of that, with football being a linebacker safety type, that part of it outside of the physical helped to be able to understand lineups, sets that they're running, and I'm watching film, understanding where they're trying to get to so I could be ahead of them defensively. I may be able to anticipate for a steal. So those types of things would be able to translate.
Can you tell what sport someone plays by looking at their jump shot?
Probably not, because there are actually some like, for example, Allen Iverson was a tremendous football player. Like, he probably could have went and did anything in football. He was that gifted and that good. LeBron James probably the same. He could have been a tremendous receiver, tight end, could have dominated. And you can see those things in certain instances where they get out on fast breaks. Like when you see LeBron take off on a fast break, you can say that sucker could have been a tremendous tight end, right? Or Allen in his shiftiness, you can see the quarterback elements of him with him in some of the control and the shiftiness and the fluidity that he operated in. You can see that, football could translate for him, right? I can't say necessarily for a baseball player where that would translate to basketball. I think that's a rare one. That's one that's rare. You can see football players and basketball players. A lot of that has to do with the time frames of the games, but I could actually see that it's pretty rare. Now, I will say that Deion Sanders was one of the ones that basketball was actually his love. He just was that good at football, and then baseball he was tremendous at. So when you talk about all around super athletes of all time, you have to look at Bo Jackson. You have to look at guys like, Deion and those levels of guys that no matter where you put them on the freaking court, because Deion could actually play. Charlie Ward, Deion could actually play. Like, I've actually played against him and watched him. You can tell he had a little stroke on him, a little shifty, give you some work, and then he could defend you. Yeah.
That leads me then to this question too. You hear the stories all the time of NFL teams specifically shutting their quarterbacks down, saying, nope, you can't go play pickup hoops. I know on this show, we're huge proponents of multi-sport athletes, and I'm sure these guys, grew up playing multiple sports. But do you think teams should, keep holding their athletes back from, playing a different sport in the offseason? Or do you think that it would be beneficial, even at the pro level, for them to, get a couple games of hoops in?
I understand why they don't allow it. You've seen instances where guys, they would do it and then they'd come back with some form of an injury, an ankle or something like that. The thing about playing a sport outside of the sport that you do is everybody believes that they can take you. So what ends up happening when you play against guys that don't understand how the game works, there might be undercutting situations. You go baseline, you see rim, you might go up to bang it, but guys are going so hard, they may go over try to take a charge on you, and then they end up like literally hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really be careful. Like we had to get to a point where we were just careful about who we played with. Like we would be careful not to just go to the Lifetime Fitness or go to any of the other types of gyms and play just regular ball, because guys, they's like, I can handle him. You know what I mean?
I played JUCO.
And then they end up playing extra hard. So that's why, like in those situations, if I ever do that, I would literally just shoot jumpers. I would just work on passing. I would work on pick and roll stuff. I would work on mid range. I would work on, spot ups. I wouldn't be overly intent in attacking the basket, because guys are reaching. They may, hurt thumbs and hands and all kinds of stuff. So I would leave that alone.
Did you ever see one of your NBA brethren get hurt doing that?
Yeah, I've seen guys undercut, like what you see, and I've seen fights jump off, because what you see is, a guy like will have a break and he's literally by himself. Those situations, if you understand the game, you leave them alone. These guys are hustling down, trying to reach and trying to, block the shot and foul, and then end up, knocking the guy over. And sometimes they get back up, but sometimes, there's a little tenderness in some of some part of their body.
For sure. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Moss Norman. You're listening to On the Block here on 93.7. The Ticket, the video stream version for now. The streams are up and running with the Royals on the radio. And Big Bird, we appreciate you texting in. You're on the app. Download the 93.7 The Ticket app for your phone. It is completely free, no charge to you. It is the easiest, most consistent way to live with the ticket. If you're out of town, if you're out of state and our signal doesn't reach to you, pull up the app, plug it into your car. You can listen to it just the same. It's the easiest way to do that. Make sure you have it. Big things coming with the app as well. We're going to step aside for our first break of the show. When we get back, we'll welcome Nick back in here for what we teased in the crossover, building our dream Major League Baseball infield. Strick is getting guys from the 90s and the 2000s. Nick and I constructed our four-man infields with a catcher from the 2010s and 2020s. If you want to play along, either comment or text the show, 402-464-5685. Again, pick a decade, your favorite decade. Give us a catcher, first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, and shortstop, and we'll read those off as we continue on the block.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, Civic Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska community. banks for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. So a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today. Located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
America's been around since 1776. That's nothing. America's still just learning how to party. The Irish? The Irish have been doing it for thousands of years. Party the Irish way at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket. They've got your favorite Irish beers on tap, along with all the locals and domestics. Plus great house cocktails, a huge selection of Irish whiskey, and the best Irish pub food in town. See the full menu and list of specials online at mckinneyspub.com or just head down there. McKinney's Irish Pub at 7th and P in the Haymarket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. I'm Austin Norman, joined by Stricky and Tricky Nick.
Stricky and Tricky Nicky.
And if Austin's already using that nickname, that's not good.
That is a great.
It's better than the nickname Sip gave me earlier this week.
What was that one?
Don't want to talk about it. Big Swim.
Big Slim?
Big Swim.
Oh, Big
Because
Swim.
I was wearing a bright blue polo.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You look like a big swimming pool."
Oh.
I wanted to call you Big Swim.
Wow.
So,
Come on,
Sip.
Sip.
It is what it is. But anyway.
Let's
All
get
right,
it.
Nick is in here for a very distinct purpose, and it's what we
Not a whole
teased
lot, yeah.
during happy hour. So here's going to be the format. Strick will give you the honors of leading off with your speed,
Of
your
course you
ability to
would.
go the other way. Hit doubles, steal bases, all that stuff. We like you leading off. Nick, you want to go? I'm probably a better 2-hole hitter. I'm probably the bunter.
Okay.
You can go third.
That's fine.
Best all-around hitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll go third.
Strick, then me, then Nick. We're going to do it one position at a time.
Okay.
Our dream MLB infields, including catchers. Strick is using players from the 90s and the 2000s. Nick and I are doing 2010s and 2020s. If you have your dream infield from a certain decade, let us know. 402-464-5685. All right, Stricky, lead us off with your catcher.
Well, my catcher, this was a tough one. For my era, it was, a lot of people knew Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. That was one of the great ones to do it. But I think there was one a little bit better, and I would have to put Mike Piazza.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mike Piazza is my catcher. This guy was a long time third base. I'm
We're
sorry.
going to do one
Go ahead.
position at
One
a
position.
time.
Oh,
One
okay.
position
Let's
at a
go.
time. So Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza.
How close was it? Coin flip?
I just think once I went down and started looking at the WARs and looking at the OPS and you just he just was a little bit better. That was just what kind of edged me out for him.
Catcher was tough for me as well because I think the two guys that are the slam dunk options for this in the 2010s and 2020s are guys I have personal vendettas against for different reasons. It came down to Yadi Molina or Buster Posey.
Yep.
It really did. I'm going to go with Buster Posey because I think Yadi, as much as he did in the 2010s, even into the early 2020s, I am going to say that he did enough before the 2010s and 20s to give Buster Posey the nod. That's where Buster Posey made his hay. Played 12 years, missed that 1 year with injury after the collision at the plate, opted out of the COVID year. But Buster Posey with the Rookie of the Year, high up in MVP voting all the time. It's kind of splitting hairs between the two of them. I get it. Yadi did it for longer. Yadi probably had the better career overall. But for the 2010s and 2020s specifically, give me Buster Posey and his 3 rings.
I'm going to take Yadier Molina, as much as it pains me as a Chicago Cubs fan and an NL Central member to take Yadier Molina. It's hard for me to bet against 9-time All-Star. Hard for me to bet against, 7 or 8 Gold Gloves that Yadier Molina's had. Has a couple Silver Sluggers as well. He was the definition, especially later in his career, of just when we see Wilson Contreras, obviously for the Cubs, that's one I think about. You need a lot of rest, right? Yadier Molina, that wasn't the case with Yadi. That just wasn't the case with Yadi. That dude was out there 150, if not 160 games a year and stayed healthy for a lot of his career, was a serviceable enough bat towards the later stages of his career. But man, that 2010 or I should say 2009 to 2015 time of Yadier Molina was just really, really, really talented and really annoying for opponents. So I'm going to go with Yadi as much as it kills me.
On to first base, Stricky.
Oh, wow. Okay. First base for me in that era, in that time, I'm going to have to look at the great Frank Thomas. Nice. Frank Thomas hit over 300, hit over 320 hitting percentage. Although McGuire had more homers than he did, he still was a 300 home run guy, but he hit more RBIs at 1,040, and he had a better WAR. He had a better WAR than McGuire overall. So I have to look at that. But the Big Hurt also had back-to-back AL MVP awards in 93 and 94. You have to just look at what the Big Hurt did throughout that, not just hitting homers, but also just his overall game.
I love it. I don't love it because he was a White Sox player, but I do love the pick. First base, I think there was a lot of competition. This was probably the toughest one for me, even more so than Posey versus Molina. To me, it came down to, I think, really 2.5 guys in the end: Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and Joey Votto.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt, I don't think, has quite enough to get there. He might have, the second or third best career by the time it's all said and done. Pete Alonso has been honestly a little up and down. I think he's under the radar a little bit,
probably
too young.
Not going to be with the Mets for very much longer.
No, and Matt Olson hasn't done it long enough. You know, he's tearing it up this year. I'm going to ultimately land on Albert Pujols. Votto has the high average in some home runs. Cabrera, obviously a great hitter, but Pujols was sneaky underrated with the glove. On top of the 703 home runs, on top of even like, I get it, I'm discounting quite a bit of his Cardinals tenure by doing 2010s and 20s. He still hit when he went to Anaheim. He didn't forget how to do it. He still hit even in Los Angeles, as he's a righty pinch hitter coming off the bench for the most part. So yeah, give me Albert Pujols at first base.
I was choosing between Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols as well, and I gave the edge to Albert for everything that Austin just said. So now we can
pretty easy.
Yeah,
simple.
Simple. I really, because like when you do these lists, I wanted to like go, all right, player value to a team as well. And like, yes, Albert Pujols was huge to the Cardinals and then obviously when he eventually went to Anaheim. But I'll ask you this. Is there any first baseman, and this is trying to take my Cubs bias aside, any first baseman in that time that mattered more to an organization and a team and a fan base than Anthony Rizzo? I mean, if you think about 108, 100 plus years, he's there. He's the staple when they finally get the World Series. I think to a fan base, when you include all that, the stats are impressive, but not anywhere near Albert or Miguel Cabrera or even Joey Votto for that matter. But when you take about when I take into consideration like player value, I think Anthony Rizzo is pretty close to the top.
Rizzo's there, depending on if you put Ortiz at DH or first base, he's in there.
That's a good point.
I would also throw Hosmer in there from what he was thought about as a prospect. And as much as we in Nebraska love the Alex Gordon home run in game 1, Hosmer going home from third on the throw that got yanked wide is probably still the most iconic play of that World Series.
Yeah.
And what will be remembered for.
That's where it's like, obviously the statistics aren't there.
Let me ask you this as a Cubs fan. Was it Rizzo's team or Bryant's team?
Rizzo.
Okay.
In a heartbeat, Rizzo. Chris Bryant also, it's really sad. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. It's crazy because I was pretty bummed out when that trio got traded of Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, and Chris Bryant, because they basically got like a sack of potatoes for him. They didn't really get anything. They still, like, none of the guys that they have gotten, the only one that's showing promise is a guy in AAA, and it's Pete Crow Armstrong, their number one prospect, who they got for, out of those three, Javier Baez, which is kind of crazy from the New York Mets organization. So, when you look at, I guess, just what the Cubs front office did in that situation, they traded away Chris Bryant, who can't stay healthy now, unfortunately, in Colorado, signed an extension with the Rockies, which was questionable. And he obviously got traded to the Giants during that deadline, but now with the Rockies. But then Rizzo, who hasn't been all that successful with the Yankees, and now come to find out that the Yankees played him for 2 weeks while he had a concussion. Like, you just didn't know he had a concussion. And then, obviously Javier Baez swings at everything on this side of the planet Earth. So, it's fine.
Second base, Strick.
For second base, I'm going to go with Ozzie Smith.
Makes sense.
Ozzie Smith, Hall of Famer, 13 consecutive Gold Glove awards during his time with the Cardinals, and it made All-Star 15 of 19 years. I mean,
wait, second base or shortstop?
He played second too.
Okay, you're throwing there. Okay, okay, you fudge it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him over there.
How about that?
I respect it.
Let's hear it, Austin.
Second base for me was one of the easier ones. I didn't think there was as many names. Jose Altuve, Dustin Pedroia, and Ian Kinsler were the guys that I landed on. Ian Kinsler had a sneaky underrated career. He was kind of the heartbeat of those early 2010s Rangers teams, and I really liked him. He was still okay by the time, Detroit, his tenure there as well. Pedroia, another one of those heartbeat guys for the Red Sox, but fell off super quick. I'm going to go Jose Altuve.
Wow.
I'm going to go Jose Altuve. His ability to put bat to ball. I get the whole Astros cheating thing, but even before that, think about, this 5'0" guy making his way up from nothing, swinging at everything, making good contact with enough power, solid defense, kind of embodied what it was that Houston tanked for, and it worked out. So Jose Altuve is my pick at second.
I'm actually going to go with a guy that was not in that list. He played for the New York Yankees, Robinson Cano. Strictly for what he did from 2010 to 2014. Finished top 5 in the MVP voting all 4 of those years. Finished or got an all-star nod all 4 of those years. Gold Glove 3 out of the 4, if I remember correctly. Silver Slugger was all 4 years. The guy was a machine for New York from 2000, like towards the back end of 2009 to 2014, and beyond. He just didn't have the accolades necessarily, but I think he finished 5th in MVP voting 1 out of those 4 years, and then inside the top 4 in the remaining. So I think I'm gonna go Robinson Cano. I like the Ian Kinsler pick though. I like the Ian Kinsler pick a lot.
One of those, here's a guy.
Yeah.
All right, Stricky, you put Ozzie Smith at second base, so it makes me really curious about where you went at shortstop.
Well, I'm going to stay with the Yankees. I'm going with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter winning 5 Gold Glove awards for the Yankees, 12 All-Star appearances, 7 times. Finished in the top 10 in AL MVP voting. I just, when you think of pinstripes back in that time frame, you definitely had to think about Derek Jeter and his leadership of that team and those runs that they made for the pennant.
You also had to think about how overrated he was.
Well, that's what you say.
Ooh. That's what the numbers say.
Hello.
I think he's a winner.
He played for a long time. That's why he put up counting stats, and he's not in the MVP discussion if he doesn't play in New York.
Oh. Interesting.
Wow. I'm learning a lot about Austin here. Austin's going to go Alcides Escobar.
Literally, though. No, okay. So I did need some help in putting this together just because I had to factor in the 2010s as well. not a lot going on. MLB.com did a top 10 at each position of the decade list back in 2019. Their number one was Elvis Andrus. I don't think I can do that. Like, what about Elvis Andrus tells you he's the best shortstop of the decade? Like, he's a good player. He's a fine player. I just can't.
How much was it? How much was it because he was right next to Adrian Beltre?
I think that's a big part of it. Gotcha. Number 2 on that list is Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah.
Who may as well gone up there with his hands empty, but was Ozzie Smith level defensively. And that's not overstating it. He was that good. Doesn't feel like, the shortstop of the decade. Tulowitzki got hurt. A guy that was really good at his peak, but didn't play a lot. And that brings me to number 4 on this list. And I think where I land is Francisco Lindor. From both his time with the Indians and now with the Mets as well. The other guys in that conversation for me were Trey Turner and Corey Seager. Lindor's played 200, 300 more games than both of those guys. Has 10 more wins above replacement than both of those guys. Counting stats are in his favor, again, having played longer. Seager in the rate stats is a little better OPS, better OPS plus. Turner, I think, is somewhere in between. But for the whole time, Lindor has been pretty durable. Contract with the Mets,
Well, I beg to differ. I have to disagree with that.
Lindor?
I'm just messing with
you. You should. I took Tulo. I took Tulowitzki. I think what we're finding out is a lot when these guys get traded, a lot of times their careers go downhill, right? And they find themselves in a really good situation and they get dealt and not as good of a situation or experience, from then on out. So I went Tulowitzki. He did really, he was really special from like 2009 to 2013 or 2014. All-star, multi-time All-Star like 4 or 5 times. Finished MVP or top 10 in MVP voting a few times. Troy Tulowitzki, those teams with like Troy and Cargo were really, really fun to watch with the Colorado Rockies. Like, they weren't necessarily phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination, but he was fun to watch. I did not like the Elvis Andrus or even Andrelton Simmons. I also would take Francisco Lindor as an Indian. I would not take Francisco Lindor as a Met.
Sure.
I would stay away from that.
I'll add this on Tulo. I was worried when the Blue Jays got him in 2015.
Well,
I thought he was going to be a piece that pushed him over the end.
They got Tulo and they got Jose Reyes at the same time. They drafted. That was another guy on that Colorado Rockies, the DJ LeMahieu as well. But that was what's crazy is that they got Jose Reyes, and that was potentially when they had David Price too.
Yes.
And you were looking at this team going, dang, this team has Jose Bautista. Like, this team has a lot of the pieces, and thankfully they just, did not pan out. So Troy Tulowitzki, is he still at Texas? Is he still a hitting coach for Texas?
I know he was there a couple of years ago.
He was there when they were in the College World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Troy Tulowitzki. But I don't know if he's still there.
Stricky, wrap us up at third base.
No, you're probably going to think this is controversial again, but it was
I'll let you know.
By numbers or by, I think the greatness of his career, I would have probably say Wade Boggs.
Gotcha.
But Wade Boggs was tremendous, hitting over 328 for batting average for his career, a couple of Golden Gloves, and won a couple of batting titles. So you look at Wade Boggs, he was phenomenal. But then I also just want to throw in Cal Ripken. Even though Cal Ripken was mostly a second, he did play third. I think Cal Ripken Jr. was just an all-around winner. He was a perennial all-star. He was somebody that when it was time to show up, he showed up. He's the Iron Man of the league, and that's why I go with him.
I like it. Third base for me was a fun one to go through. The first couple names I thought of were Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado, especially recently. Did have to throw Alex Bregman into that conversation, even though he's, again, with the Astros, all that stigma sort of thing. But as I did more research, I think the guy that I have to end up going with, even though he hasn't played in, what would it be, 6 years now?
6 years.
Adrian Beltre.
Bingo.
Like, he was just so good from 2010 to 2016, still had a role to play in 2017 and 2018 as he finishes out his career in Texas. 1, 2, 3, 4-time All-Star, finished third in MVP voting in 2012. 1, 2, 3 Silver Sluggers, 3 Gold Gloves as well in that time. So I like Nolan Arenado. I think he's the best third baseman right now. I love Manny Machado. I think he makes that a close competition. Bregman obviously played his role in Houston as well, but it's hard to argue with what Adrian Beltre did in the 2010s.
I'm going Adrian Beltre too. Everything he said, but then also from 2010 to 2018, since that's kind of our time frame that we're going off of, I did some research. He averaged 8 errors a season, which is incredible. He was fine with the bat. Great defender, great personality for the game of baseball in that time as well. And so Adrian Beltre, there was 1 year, and to tell you this, there was 1 year in there, I think it was like 2015 potentially, he had 17 errors, and so had double his average in just one season, which means, there were seasons where he had 3, he had 4 the entire season, and it's not like he was injured, he was durable, played for close to 20 years, so I'm going Adrian Beltre as well.
All right, Strick, one more time, run through your team for us.
Oh, at catcher, I went with Mike Piazza. First base went with Frank Thomas. Second with Ozzie Smith. Shortstop with Derek Jeter. And third base with Cal Ripken Jr.
Love it. Nick, your team.
Catcher, Yadier Molina. First base, two-way tie between Albert Pujols and then Anthony Rizzo for doing how much they matter to an organization and a fan base. Second base, Robinson Cano with the Yankees. Shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. And third base, Adrian Beltre.
All right, my final answers were Salvador Perez, Eric Hosmer, Ben Zobrist, Alcides Escobar, and Mike Moustakas.
How about that?
That is a perfect 2010s infield.
Especially in 2015, couldn't be better.
Even 2014. Elo Zobrist wasn't there.
Yeah,
Throw
exactly.
Omar Infante in.
Shout out to why is Pablo Sandoval on that list, Austin?
You know why Pablo Sandoval isn't on that list,
Mr.
Nick.
Posey, Madison Bumgarner. Madison Bumgarner could do it all. He hits home runs, too.
He could. Nick, thanks for playing along.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Stricky, appreciate the history lesson.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Again, let us know your list. I'll tweet it out, tag Strick and Nick in it. Let us know whose team wins, Strick's, Nick's, or mine. I'll get that up in a sec. We'll take a break. We're going to play the shootout with Strick when we come back. 402-464-5685. Call now. If you beat Strick in trivia, you win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Call now. We'll play the game next.
Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop feed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Our Remington Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game.
That's right. Even though we're not on radio, we are still playing the game show. So call now, 402-464-5685. Take on Strick in trivia. $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings could be yours. Strick, as we await a caller, some news in the NBA, not anything specific, but it's schedule release day. As an NBA player, is that something you were interested in? Did it not matter to you? Were you looking, at certain dates, times, road trips at all?
I mean, I think some of the things you look for is what is going to be your longest road trip. If you're playing in the East Coast, you kind of would look at when's your West Coast road trip. However many home games you may have, when are they? Is it around the holidays? Are you going to have family come out? So you kind of look at the schedule just kind of depending on how your life is going and who's involved in your life and who's around during those times. So yeah, definitely you would look at the length of the longest probably road trip that you might have, and some of the best games that you would probably perceive to have during the season, like maybe when you're going to play the Knicks or when you're going to play the Lakers, depending on how well they're doing. Some of the best teams in the conferences, when you're going to get them.
So the schedule came out today. All the teams have it. They've posted it. Positive Residual, which does some NBA stats, has the strength of schedule numbers already put out there. If you had to guess, just blind guess, who do you think has the easiest strength of schedule for this coming NBA season?
Atlanta Hawks.
It is not the Atlanta Hawks. It is your defending NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets.
You've got to be kidding.
I am not kidding.
That's usually not the case. If you look at football schedules, it's usually the other way around. They usually make
play first place
tremendously tougher. Wow. Huh.
Does that help them repeat?
It could. I mean, especially knowing that they have a lot of their pieces back. Could. You got continuity. Other teams are bringing in new players, new faces, trying to figure out what combinations are working. You pretty much got your whole team back, and you have a pretty easy schedule. Yeah, shoot, yeah.
The other thing to get to as we await a caller here on Shootout with Strick, 402-464-5685, is we have some regular season win total over-unders posted. Again, these are betting lines, not predictions or anything, but I do still think it's notable that according to one betting site, Strick, of the 15 teams in the Western Conference, 11 of them have their over-under set at 44.5 wins. 44 wins is usually, 6-7 seed.
That's domination.
That's incredible. The 2/3 of the West is, projected to be in a normal 8-team playoff year, a playoff team.
I mean, I think if you look at it, you start running it down. You look, just start from the bottom. You're looking at Portland probably being towards the bottom. You'll look at maybe the Clippers.
Spurs, Rockets.
Yeah, Spurs, Rockets. Dallas kind of in the middle, bottom. But then you start looking towards the top, and you've got to think Phoenix is probably going to get better. Now they've got a full season with the trade. I still think their front court situation is going to be an issue for them. Denver, definitely. Sacramento, definitely. Think towards that top end, you're probably, depending on what they do with some of their situations, you're going to look at the Clippers. You got to keep your eye on Utah. Utah is not actually that bad. Great young core. Just depends on how some of their drafts pan out for them. OKC still going to be pretty solid. They've got a young nucleus of guys. Who else is out there?
Let's see. Well, the top projected wins in the West are the Clippers at 53.5 and the Suns at 52.5. So neck and neck for that one seed. A little bit of a drop then. The Warriors at 48.5, the Lakers 47.5. The Clippers and Grizz tied at 46.5. So again, kind of a clumping there. And then the 5 teams that are sitting at 44.5, that kind of magic number to round out the 11. Dallas, Minnesota, New Orleans, OKC, and Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, it's going to be some battles. I think they're going to go out west and do some things to people. I mean, we don't know now with the Porzingis situation how good Boston's going to be, what type of fall off, what they're going to be able to do in securing, people to come with now these big money situations looming with Brown as well as Tatum behind that. Then you don't know what's going to happen. I think Washington, I just don't see them getting any better. Atlanta will probably be stagnant at the same place. Miami would look to get better, but I still think they're there. I don't see any difference with Orlando. So yeah, I mean, I think when you start looking at it going up and down, how good is Indiana really? There's questions there. The Bucks, solid. Detroit, great young nucleus. Keep your eyes on them. They've got some things working there. New York Knicks, I think the New York Knicks could have some possible topsy-turviness because they're still unsure with how their nucleus is going to stay together, be together. I think you had some tapering off there. How are the Brooklyn going to feed with their new young core? I think there's a lot of uncertainties when you look east, but there could be some surprises that pop up out of there. I don't know what's going to happen with Charlotte.
Does anybody?
Yeah, just don't know.
That's just the thing. We'll definitely keep monitoring that, see if those lines move at all as we prepare for the NBA regular season. We don't have a caller, so Strick wins by default today, wins by forfeit. Maybe we give it another shot tomorrow. Maybe we bring it out on a Friday so I don't have to throw these questions away. We'll just have to see. We're on the stream here, brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers. The Royals and the Mariners are playing on the radio. We'll throw it to break. When we get back, Strick, I'm going to dive into SEC and Big Ten cooperation and partnership when it comes to college football. Would that be good for other conferences? Would it be bad for other conferences? I want to tease that out. I want to work through that a little bit with you. Let's do that as we kick off hour 2 on the block.
Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustis Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustis Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustisBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. He's going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and new basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is on a thirsty Thursday.
Thursday.
Stay tuned for that. Uncle Kev will be in about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. Pop. Fizz.
You know
Let's
what
go.
it is.
You know what it is. Smart's corking bottle. Let's get it.
Stay tuned for that. Uncle Kev will be in the 4 o'clock hour as part of Old School. Well, this is On the Block. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. Sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the
Soul. Go get it.
27th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. Stop by, tell Charles, everyone on the crew hi. We appreciate them. You will as well. Open through the weekend. Check out their big lunch buffet, their Southern Sweet Heat wings, all these scrumptious, delectable sides. I won't say you won't be disappointed because that's expectation management. You'll love it.
Yeah, you will. And they told us that guys have come in and they told them that, On the Block sent them, and we thank you guys for popping in. But it's definitely, if you've not been to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, it's definitely worth a taste test. We know that some of you on the stream may not live in the city, but if you ever come in for a football game or a volleyball game or track or whatever it is that you're coming to Lincoln for, make sure you shoot out the 27th at Pine Lake, holler at the crew at Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. You will not be disappointed.
You will not. If you are catching us right now, you are either on the app, like Big Bird was before. We appreciate that. Download the app. Make sure you have that. It's the best, most consistent way to get your 93.7 The Ticket content. Or you're watching on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Allo Channel 951, all brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Before we jump off into our topic, Strick, we have a trivia question with our board op extraordinaire in the room right now. Working hard today, so she's not going to actually ask the question. She will give the answer. The trivia question for 4 tickets to Midget Wrestling on this Saturday, August the 19th. It starts at 8, doors open at 7 at the Icebox. Again, Midget Wrestling at the Icebox on Saturday the 19th. Start time at 8, doors open at 7. The trivia question is this, if I can find it. Where did I put it? It's here somewhere.
You hit
Maybe
it.
It's here. I had it. Where did I put it?
Wow. Now she's really got to get on the mic.
Wait.
You didn't hit it from the crew.
I found it. I found it.
Okay.
We're good.
Ooh, you let her off
looking at the wrong spot. Okay, so again, 4 tickets, Midget Wrestling at the Icebox Saturday, 8 o'clock. What was our very own Megan Walker's best high school 200-meter dash time? Again, what was Megan Walker's best high school 200-meter dash time? Closest answer by the end of the segment will get the 4 tickets to wrestling this
4-pack.
Saturday. 4-pack.
Take the family.
1, 2, 3, and
4. Take the family out there, man. It's going to be pretty fun. You got to love it, though. They're going to get out there and have just a wonderful time. If you think WWE, just think a little bit smaller. That's all. A little bit smaller. Still be a good time.
What are we getting into, Stricky?
Yes, we're going to jump into a discussion that we kind of teased a little bit early on the crossover with the happy hour crew. Now, in this situation, it is an interesting topic. The reason being is because you have superpowers coming together. This is not like Marvel and what's
DC.
And DC. You know, this is like that type of merger where usually you see them kind of competing against each other, but now you're going to see them working with each other. And Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, they seem to get along. There seems to be a lot of cooperation. There seems to be a lot of understanding. There seems to be a lot of kumbaya going on between the two super conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. So the question being is, with this type of cooperation, is this a situation where this is dangerous for other conferences, or is it just something kind of to mirror maybe other conferences can do some of the same things in joining up?
I think there can be positives and negatives to it. The positive, I think, might be a little optimistic, might be a little naive given how cutthroat these two leagues have been. But to me, strictly, the positive view of these two conferences working together is the old adage of a rising tide lifts all boats. Right? If these two conferences that are at the top of the college football pecking order right now in terms of prestige, in terms of just the bottom line, dollars and cents part of it, if they're working together on projects, that's more money out there for them. But you think that would eventually trickle down to someone else? Eventually. You would think, you would hope. The other positive is that these are probably the two most respected voices in the room. I know Tony Petitti hasn't been the commissioner for very long. Greg Sankey also hasn't been there, overly long, but longer than Petitti has, obviously. But again, two very respected voices that are the mouthpieces for well-respected presidents and chancellors who are really making a lot of these decisions. The hope is that these people, as the mouthpieces, and with the power that they do have to some degree, know how big their universities are, understand the appeal of them, but also take a more holistic student-athlete approach in mind, right, where it's not just about football. And if these two conferences lead the charge on, hey, let's break football away from other sports, let's do our own thing, keep things simpler for other student athletes. If those two lead the charge, this will get done.
Mm-hmm. You seem to like that model. You seem to like the splitting off of the football segments of the NCAA, taking it even outside of the purview of the NCAA regulations, allowing themselves. So would you say you would be a proponent of them in regulatory standing on how things are going to go, it's shaping the move? Or does that create a monopoly type of thing that kind of puts people, in a little bit of like fear that they get kind of ran out the game because their voice becomes too small?
I think both. I'm a big fan of the model, but I think you would have to be careful that it's not Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey in charge of what the setup looks like. They would have to have input on it. But this is where, Strick, I think the idea of a college football commissioner would come into play, who's someone that not just the Big Ten and SEC, but the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips, Big 12 commissioner, Brent Yormark, and then whatever's left of the Pac-12 and George Kliavkoff would come together, if that's still going to be a power conference, and say, who's a guy that we can all agree on, or who's a person that we can all agree on that has the vision, that has the panache, the charisma, the prestige to pull us all together to make this product work on a football level. Because if it's Sankey, I mean, think about how us here with no coast think about the SEC and specifically what it is with ESPN. Oh, it's so biased. Oh, the SEC is always going to get this, and this.
Right.
I don't think the Big Ten's that far behind. You just need the media arm to prove it. So the SEC would maybe want its own guy like a Greg Sankey in charge of it, but they're not going to have Big Ten support for that. Big Ten might want their own guy. SEC is not going to go for that. So I think you have to include more of those bigger brands outside of those two, major conferences and get someone more teams can agree on, because otherwise it is just going to be those two leagues doing their own thing, which scares me. I don't think that's the best model.
I can't help when I think about, this kind of discussion, Austin, I can't help but think about our political system, right? You have the Democrats, you have the Republicans, right? You have the SEC, you have the Big Ten. Right now, there's some great communications that are going on. Sometimes there's some fake communications that are going on. We fake like we like you, or we actually like you and we fake like we don't, right? So you have that going on. And then you have the small guys. So when you think about the political system that we have right now, right? The D side want power structures to remain in the large numbers, in the big cities. The R side wants the little voice still to be heard in the rural communities, in the smaller cities, so that a voice can still be heard. So this is kind of where I look at this situation. Like when I look at the two, I look at a cooperation going on between the big two, the independent voices. The smaller guys that really want to get into it are getting left out because they're saying, no, you're not going to be able to debate this, or no, you're not going to be able to play in the sandbox with us because you're a small guy. And so this is what scares me about it, because there's these other voices that want to be heard, the FCS groups, the FBS group, the group of five group. Like, where do they land in that landscape of the big power structures? And I know you're saying there's committees, and I know you're saying that, but is it still going to be the big boys playing, and then the little boys, the little guys are sitting in the corner like raising hands, and they can't get in and get a spot?
And that's what worries me. That's where I think there's a potential for a huge negative with the SEC and the Big Ten cooperating as much as they are. Trev Alberts had an interview where he said as much. He says probably in the next 10 years, college football is going to be in a spot where the 40 biggest brands break off from the rest of football and do their own thing, which leaves everyone else behind, right? If Petiti and Sankey wake up one morning and say, yeah, that's what we want. We want to split this in half. We want to take just the biggest brands and focus on them, push everyone else to the wayside. They could probably do it. And that's the scary part. You hope they wouldn't. You hope that there'd be enough input and pushback from people that wouldn't be the direction they lean. But having that much power, seeing numbers that big, I can't even imagine, Strick, as a commissioner, seeing those numbers, let alone as a president or a chancellor. How big can our share of that pot be? Like, I'm sure that'd be, cartoon dollar signs flashing out of my eyes. My jaw's on the floor. You hope common sense prevails at some point, though, that there's a model that you can have the best of both worlds, where you can still include everyone that's in, the current, at least Power Five, have room for Group of Five to thrive and do its own thing, do the best for athletes outside of college football. But all it takes is one of those guys waking up on the wrong side of the bed and finding a way to convince the other one to do it, snap their fingers.
Yeah.
And ESPN and Fox are bending over backwards to make this happen.
Yeah. And this is where we're going to get into this probably in the next conversation, but this is where, do you feel bad for the Pac-12, or do you just say you did this on your own? I mean, we're going to talk about it, but when I start looking at that, and then I start looking now towards I think the thing that's saving the SEC, the ACC, was the fact that they extended them out to 2030. And there's a large ramifications for jumping ship, where it's different because they happen to be in the TV negotiations on the Pac-12 side. I think they benefited from the fact that they're kind of, locked in. I don't think this happens going forward. I don't think any chancellor or president will look going forward towards a model that it goes out that far to an extension, because there's just so much changing. Money that's money today may not be money that's money tomorrow. You have inflation, you have all kinds of things that kind of make the money a little bit less now than playing in the game of just kind of watching it and then say, oh, we're good where we're at, keep it going, instead of being locked in for so long.
Right. This is where it's similar but different to a contract negotiation with the player, right? ESPN and Fox, CBS, NBC are the teams in this situation, right? They want the most amount of control over the most number of schools at the most reasonable price possible. The schools would love to be, essentially free agents every year. Where can I get the best deal? Where can we get the best deal as we pool our rights together? Obviously, you're not going to sign 1-year TV deals.
Right.
I get that. But that's why the Big Ten having the 7-year deal that it just signed, taking it through 2030, that's a pretty small window of time, all things considered. It gives you that flexibility to renegotiate before the ACC gets back on the market again. So, like everything, you kind of have to meet in the middle, regardless of who's involved, right? I mean, the networks are probably going to have to pay more per school than they want. The schools will probably have to lock in for more years than they might desire, but find that middle ground that's good enough for everyone.
I think too, when you look at this, I think the TV deal that they did with the Big Ten, I think right now they feel they won. Because you've got more markets, you've got more teams, you've got more value that you can add in your programming that you didn't really expect to have. You may not even be done. So I think when they're looking at it, they're looking at a cost benefit ratio of, I feel pretty good about the money that we spent, as opposed to looking back at it and saying, should we have spent that kind of money in this deal? So then you've got to look at the other sports, and you got to now, when you look at the other sports and you're looking at this splitting type of segment, does this change the dynamic with the football now being separate, or is it something worked out to where they're saying that still football is a contributor in this deal, because you don't want football basically saying, we are the big dogs and we have all the K-Cola in this vault, in this safe. You can't have none. You know what I mean? You don't want that to happen. So do you think something like that, if there's some type of negotiation to make this separation, that something has to be involved in it?
I think absolutely it does, for all the reasons you just laid out. The piece that I read about this, Strick, to me, the money quote came from Illinois AD Josh Whitman about this whole thing. He said, quote, "There's a lot of shared interests and understanding of the prominent place that the Big Ten and the SEC both occupy in the college athletics landscape now. We would be remiss if we didn't look for opportunities to try and collaborate with them and recognize the responsibility that we have as conferences now is to try and look out for the best interests of the whole. I think it's really incumbent upon us." You can read that two ways. The optimistic spin is when he says, recognize the responsibility that we have as conferences now is to try and look out for the best interests of the whole. The generous interpretation of that is, yes, student athlete welfare is in mind outside of just football. The scary part of that to me is, what does he mean by whole? Does he mean student athlete welfare, or does he mean the school's bottom line in the Big Ten and the SEC? Shared interest and understanding of the prominent place they have. That tells me the ADs, the presidents, the chancellors, the commissioners of these two leagues recognize the power that they have. You know, they know there's a lot they can do, and that what they do is meaningful. And if they use that power wrong, that's scary for 190 some other, football schools.
That's a fact. And so I think this is a good place to table this discussion, because then when we come back, in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the Pac-12 and how their gun, they had blanks that were sitting in the gun. They thought it was loaded, and they went into a gunslinger fight with blanks, and the TV companies had real bullets. And that's the fight that you don't want to be in when you're at a gunslinger in the wild, wild west of sports of the day. We're going to talk about that when we come back with the Pac-12. Oh, you got something?
I was just going to say, we have the tickets to give away.
Oh, yes.
We had the best guess for Megan Walker's 200 time. I'm going to swing the mic over to Megan so she can give the answer real quick. Megan, the answer for your best 200-meter dash time in high school. There we go.
Hello. Okay. The best time for my 200-meter dash in high school was a 24.77.
Woo! Blazing.
That's cooking a little bit.
Texter 3201, you have won the tickets. Text us your name. We'll put them on a little slip for you. You can come in, pick your tickets up again to wrestling on Saturday. We'll take a break. Like Strick said, we'll then get into the Pac-12 with the empty gun. What does that mean? What does that look like? Could this all have been avoided? All that and more next on The Block.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM-certified used inventory is filling up fast, so make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
The Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, Nebraska National Guard, 55th Wing, and the Lincoln Airport Authority presents the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, featuring the U.S. Navy Blue Angels, the F-16 Viper demo team, F-35, and the Air Force Wings of Blue. Experience a spectacle that your family will remember forever. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show, Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th at Lincoln Air Park. Parking and admission are free. Learn more at lincolnairshow.com.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the Shuffleboard Corner. Come on Sundays for Open House League all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Shake off the start to the work week with karaoke on Monday nights. And don't forget, happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and you are always welcome to bring in your own food. Arnold's Tavern in the heart of Havelock.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal cars come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's less than 1 month until the Guardians of Freedom Air Show comes to Lincoln's Air Park on August 26th and 27th. The show can't happen without the efforts of volunteers, and they need your help. This is a great opportunity to raise money for civic clubs, student organizations, club sports, and others who want to be close to the high-flying action. For more details on how to volunteer at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, visit LincolnAirShow.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415. Or online at ambitionelectric.com.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which includes the tri-state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HNHroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
On the block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're here on the block. Another couple segments to go before we turn it over to Old School. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. Strick, you teased as we went into the break. The Pac-12 tricked off that bet.
Yeah, the Pac-12 did a disservice to themselves by walking into a situation where they didn't have quite the right weaponry to fight the type of fight that they were going to be fighting, right? It's, for example, a submarine going against a boat with depth charges, but didn't have any type of torpedoes. They didn't have no torpedoes. They had a freaking just a little 50 cal sitting on top of the
Little
submarine.
and 50 cal aren't often in the same.
So they have to
sentence,
service and lose the advantage that they have in order to fight against a destroyer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The destroyer can, drop you like a bad habit without the weaponry that you needed. And so with that, they find themselves in a situation where I think, and this is my personal opinion, Austin, I think that the Pac-12 would still be alive if they would have took the money. I've seen some of my NBA colleagues, I've seen some of them, pass on situations where they thought they had super leverage and they didn't have any. And when the GM or when the team walks away from the table and you're like, oh no, there's not another one out there. There's not another player in the game. And I know all of you that are listening on this line right now or on the stream, you probably at one time had watched a show called Deal or No Deal. Mm-hmm. You looked at that show and you had to pick the case. The case opens up. If it's more on the left side than on the right side, the banker money goes up. You open cases on the right side and the banker money came in. You had a couple on the left, came in on a moderate tone. Not necessarily what you're looking for, but gosh darn it, it's still some good money. Mm-hmm. You forgot to push the button. You said no deal.
Slam that case shut.
Then you all of a sudden open the case with $1 million in it, and the banker says, Gotcha. That's what happened in this situation. They had the bag in hand and thought that they were going to be and compete on the same level as the Big 12. As the Big 10 and the SEC, and came up short with a no deal.
No deal at all. Not even an underwhelming deal, but legitimately no deal at all. And Strick, that to me is the most revealing part. That the Pac-12 had something on the table, a piece that we were going over. John Canzano is his name. He's been all over the realignment stuff as a reporter out on the West Coast. He reports that the Pac-12 got an offer of $30 million per school from ESPN as recently as the fall of 2022, right? That's not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we all knew the Pac-12 wasn't in a great spot, not a great, football product, all things considered. ESPN was still willing to take over Pac-12 network, all the media rights, and give each school $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
George Kliavkoff took that offer to the presidents and the chancellors, and they said, turn it down.
No deal.
One of them apparently went to an economics professor of some sort, and this economics professor told him they could get $50 million per school. That's not quite That's current Big Ten SEC level money
Yeah.
for the Pac-12. I don't know what this professor was looking at. What
He was
what
on the Snoop
evidence
Dogg.
was.
He went down to LA, went up and sat in Snoop Dogg's living room
Mhm.
and got contact. All of them did, literally.
Each and every one of them.
Yeah.
And so not only do they think they're not worth 30,
They was
think they're
on
worth
they was on
50.
they was on that Pookie. They wasn't on that Snoop Dogg. They was on that New Jack City Pookie. That Chris Rock.
Oh boy. So the board told Kliavkov to say no to ESPN's proposal and make a quote lopsided counteroffer, end quote.
Man.
So Canzano's
dumbfounded.
source said, you know what? We told ESPN after $30 million per school. The source says we said we want 50. Canzano asks, what was the ESPN response? Bye bye.
You want to know? You want to see it in real time what it was? What'd you say? Say it again. Say it again.
50.
And walked out the door. They laughed in their face and walked out. That's what happened in that situation.
Was it the Chris Paul?
Oh, it was worse than that. They hit him with the James Harden. Hit him with the James Harden look away. That's what happened in that situation. I guarantee it. Go ahead.
So my question then is, whose fault is that? Is it on the presidents and chancellors for pushing for 50? Or is it on Kliavkov for not doing more to talk some sense into the presidents and chancellors to settle at 30?
I think there's a both. They're both responsible for that situation. If I'm Kliavkov, and I'm understanding, I'm being very tactical in the way that I'm doing it, because I don't want to like curb your enthusiasm. Not show. I don't want to curb your enthusiasm, but I want to make you to kind of understand that even if we do this, let's do it in a shorter number.
Mm-hmm.
So we can evaluate after 4 years. Let's do it for 4 years or 5 years. Come back even before the big 10.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that the Big Ten was smart in the strategy of using what they did to the next best thing outside of the SEC, which either Big 12 or Pac-10. I mean, Big 12 or the ACC. So you're saying they still got to come back up again. Let's go ahead and just do 7. I think they could have done that. They could have probably did 5. Let's just evaluate where we are. Let's see how, you feel about us after about 5 years, and we can come back and talk about it again and make them to understand that. I don't think they did. I think he kind of caved a little bit. I think he heard, the little angel sitting on the right side of his shoulder talking like, yeah, you know what? 50's the number. I think you can get there.
I think the angel was saying 30. The little devil on the shoulder was saying 50.
Ah, yeah, there you go. That's the way. So I think that's what happened.
The Pac-12 wanted the Steph Curry bag right away, but they're Jordan Poole.
Ooh.
Is that fair to say?
Great analogy. But they're even worse than Jordan Poole.
Oh.
They even worse because Jordan Poole got the bag.
He did. He got
the bag. But
they got the Johnny Flynn bag.
Yeah. Yeah. He got paid. You didn't. You not only didn't get paid, you lost 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't know what the heck to do. Like I'm sure it's hectic, chaotic, and all kinds of chaos going on over there in the Pac-12 offices right now, trying to figure out what the next move is.
The reason I use the Jordan Poole versus Steph analogy is because Steph Curry didn't get his current contract as his first, extension, right? Mm-hmm. He built to it after years and years. You can't skip from making rookie scale money to making multiple first team All-NBA Supermax type money. That's where I think your point of could the Pac-12 have done a 5-year deal with ESPN for more, million per year, but maybe less total, and reevaluate it, give themselves flexibility, give themselves a chance to build value. If the value goes down, okay, you took your shot, but it was, I think, the best balance of strike a deal in the here and now, get us something, and give ourselves a chance for growth. But from trying to jump from 30 to 50, that's boom or bust, all or nothing.
All or nothing, and that's where I think there's a meet in the middle. And I'm not talking about not even in the direct middle. I'm not talking about 42.5. I'm talking about even just 10 million more.
Right.
40.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you got 30, just go to 40 and say let's work at it like this. We're not trying to knock you out the box. We ain't trying to come in like Tyson and Debo you in the ring. We just really trying to just make sure it's beneficial to all parties involved. And let us build our value. Let you see our value, and then we can talk about it down the road. I think that would have been a better approach. Not to say that they didn't talk about that. I don't know, but if I was a smart man, and I think I'm okay. I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the room. These guys are supposedly the smartest guys.
Oh, and they want you to know they're the smartest.
Yeah. So, I beg to differ at this point. I think they really tricked the bag, not even dropped it. I think they tricked it. It's like they went in there and they was James Harden, or they was what's his name? The Precious.
Oh, Gollum?
No, Ja Morant.
Oh, Ja. Yeah.
They was down in the Denver spot. We ain't gonna say no name. They was in the Denver spot, and they tricked the bag.
Straight off.
Yeah, straight off. Like money gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Sad.
Unfortunate.
But really, who's to blame? That's the part that we really want to talk about. Are you guys on the Sutter Heyman text line as well as on the stream, 402-464-5685, or on the stream, you can also tap in there. Who's to blame in this situation? Who do you think is to blame? I mean, we really can't say because we don't know what's going on behind the doors, but who's really to blame?
Another little bit of college football news to get into, Strick, is, well, high school football news now, and that's Pat Fitzgerald, former Northwestern coach, given everything that went down this summer. He is taking a volunteer position at Loyola Academy High School to coach two of his sons that play on that team. He went through training and a background check before he was given the spot on staff as a volunteer. From a pure football on field standpoint, going to be great for the linebacker room, I think.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's able to coach his sons at the high school level. But my question is this: does Pat Fitzgerald ever get back to college football coaching?
I think it's going to depend on how all of this pans out. It's going to depend on to what level documentation, to what level can be proven. I don't think on just accusation alone it should hinder him. I think to what extent he knew, similar to, look, please don't attribute this to one-to-one. I'm saying similar to like Joe Paterno in the Sandusky situation, right? To what level did Joe know or understood or had some insight or whatever the level is that it got to his table, who sat in his office, who had discussions with him, then broke this down to him and told him, and nothing was done. I think that could be a determining factor. I think it's such a heinous thing that's being brought against him that it's going to be a time frame possibly to where he won't be able to get involved. I think he's a good enough coach that down the road he could probably, and I even think if he jumped pro, he jumped pro, sit in an analyst side of things in the background where you're not necessarily in the foreground where everybody's chirping and talking about you. Hopefully you have some established relationships still there. I think that may be the better road for him. It just depends on what the penalties that come down on Northwestern football could determine to the level of where he could get back. But we've seen heinous stuff. We've seen problems. We've seen situations happen that people were able to still come and redeem themselves. I want to leave it open for redemption because I think that everybody should have a redemptive, opportunity to turn it around, change it, make different decisions going forward. But at that point, it just determines, because perception becomes reality to other people, and therefore that could happen to him.
He's got to prove he's remorseful, got to prove he's learned something. And it's going to take someone honestly taking that chance on him again to give him that opportunity. But working in his favor is that he's 48 years old.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of time. If he was 58 or 68, it probably done. Right off into the sunset. Right. Yeah. But at 48, you would think there's a second act in there somewhere, whatever it is that looks like. Let's throw it to break here on the block. Jay Foreman waiting patiently next door. We'll bring him in to wrap things up with a crossover with Old School to round out on the block.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at danatrucking.com.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
You're counting on your team to win. So why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Bob just wanted to say thank you for a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. We got 0.9% financing along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM-certified used inventory is filling up fast, so make that money-saving drive to Koppel. It's just south of the interstate, or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
The Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, Nebraska National Guard, 55th Wing, and the Lincoln Airport Authority presents the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, featuring the U.S. Navy Blue Angels, the F-16 Viper demo team, F-35, and the Air Force Wings of Blue. Experience a spectacle that your family will remember forever. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show, Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th at Lincoln Air Park. Parking and admission are free. Learn more at lincolnairshow.com.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the Shuffleboard Corner. Come on Sundays for Open House League all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Shake off the start to the work week with karaoke on Monday nights. And don't forget, happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and you are always welcome to bring in your own food. Arnold's Tavern in the heart of Havelock.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Price Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's less than 1 month until the Guardians of Freedom Air Show comes to Lincoln's Air Park on August 26th and 27th. The show can't happen without the efforts of volunteers, and they need your help. This is a great opportunity to raise money for civic clubs, student organizations, club sports, and others who want to be close to the high-flying action. For more details on how to volunteer at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, visit LincolnAirShow.com.
Repeat after me.
I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
H&H Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which includes the tri-state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HNHroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Vibe it.
We vibing. You know what time it is?
Almost that time.
It's not only the crossover, but it's almost that time.
Almost. The clock is counting down.
Ooh, Stricky, get excited this time.
I
don't know why, Jay, you disappear. Man. You disappear when it's, time to pop, fizz. Yeah. But God darn it, I love it.
I know you do. Look at you. You just like the excitement on your face is just something that just can't be replicated, man.
No, sir.
We had to put you in a little timeout because you was missing on a consistent basis. So, yeah, you were. You was tripping. I can't believe you, Jay. Well, you was tripping. Well, we brought you. No, you was gone. Doing your thing. We welcomed you back home with open arms, but we had to discipline you a little bit. And you didn't timeout. We had to put you in timeout, and you didn't bounce back like a champion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As long as you don't bring the pickle beer.
You don't like that?
I can't do it.
Pickles are great.
Now the last one was all right. The last one wasn't too bad. It was a little more dealy as opposed to pickle.
So, Strick, are you a beer guy, wine, or a
like a liquor spirits type of guy?
Yeah, mixed.
I am a majority wine guy, and there's a reason for it. You guys are familiar with Superman and Batman, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes when I take a look at a taste of the spirits, I change into a different form.
Clark Kent.
You can't
takes off the glasses, turns into Superman.
Yeah,
it's not a negative. It's a positive.
You can't handle your alcohol, brother.
No, I can, but I'm gonna be honest. Now when I do,
is it light? Now is it lighter dark? Is it lighter dark?
I like Tito's.
But which one gets you out of the dark look?
Yeah, little Henny low.
Yeah, that yak.
The Henny low.
Yeah,
the Henny low take me there.
There are a lot of people that got their mugshot taken off some yak.
Yeah, so that's why I leave it alone. I know my limits. I got to a point where I'm like, now I don't ever go overboard. I don't go overboard to where I had to take an Uber before, but I don't go overboard. I go to the brink and look over the edge and be like, it's time to go. I know when it's time to go. I know.
And you leave responsibly in an Uber. Well done.
But wine just kind of melatonin just mellows me out. And
it's hot outside, man. You need to have one of those athletes that I put you on to.
Yeah, Jay,
hey, Austin. You would stand an 8 count on Strick. When we was out, where were we at?
We was at what was the name of the thing that we're gonna have out in Colorado?
No, we was at Wilderness Ridge.
Blur.
But no, we were at Wilderness.
You did it at Blur too, doggone it, when we was out there.
Yeah. But you had already kind of built up your tolerance.
Yeah, Wilderness Ridge though.
Wilderness Ridge. It was me, him, and AG. Oof. It was hot out there, boy, and humid. I was like, Strick, we're gonna handle two things. We're gonna get you some spirits, mix it with Gatorade. We're gonna call it an athlete. Standing 8 count down the stretch. But then he perked up and finished
right
with a birdie and a par.
Facts.
Well done.
Doggone it.
Heck yeah.
I ain't no sucker.
No, you ain't.
But I'm a sucker for the athlete now.
But Austin, if you could have seen your boy out there, man,
you would have been. Am I lying though, Jay, about the change? because I was a little bit different. Did I not? You know, I went from chill.
Yeah, you got a
cigar.
little,
I got a little feisty.
Yeah, you did.
And that's why I perked up at the end. Was like, I ain't no sucker.
Yeah.
And I got on there and dropped one down the middle. Yeah, you know what it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that's your go-to, Strick, if you're ever down on the golf course.
Go
Hit
to
up
the athlete.
Yeah.
Just something that just kind of perks you up. What we gonna talk about? Let's get into
Man, we've done a lot of good stuff today. I was going to give an update quick on our teams from the first hour.
Oh, yeah.
So far, my team has 30% of the vote.
Boo.
Nick's team has 30% of the vote.
Boo.
Team Stricky, 40% of the vote.
You better go, Stricky. You do what you do.
What teams you
We
guys
did some baseball stuff.
We
Stricky,
did
Stricky, I
all
told-
decade infields and catchers. So Strick, we gave him the 90s and the 2000s.
Oh.
Nick and I picked from the 2010s and 2020s.
This is what I want to ask you though.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was about a week ago.
About a week ago.
Did you see the fight between my man from the Rangers and Anderson? You
It
didn't
was
see
Ramirez, Jose Ramirez
Jose
from
Ramirez.
the guards.
Listen,
I did not see it.
I'll send it to you real quick.
So what happened was Ramirez was going to second.
Oh, he slid underneath him.
He slid
I did
underneath,
see that.
And then Anderson kind of
Stood over him.
Yeah, and he
tried to teabag.
Teabag, and then he just stood there for a little while. Anderson got mad, and the ump was right there. This is the best. This is the best part. Anderson threw the glove off, was like, "Let's go." And
he
then
squared up first.
He squared up first,
And
but
he
he
threw
had
a two-piece chicken wing.
but he
left
missed.
it out there.
But he missed,
Right.
though.
Right.
And I think Ramirez lack of height helped him because he was punching down and missing, and so Ramirez's head was down and just hit him with a
haymaker with the right. I saw that.
Low man wins.
And he was like he was on Tito's.
Yeah.
He was
He looked like he had a little hypnotic and the Incredible Hulk. Hey, when you were playing baseball, you ever see any bench clearing,
No,
bro?
never didn't really get to bench clearing. But listen, this is how bench clearings could happen though in my day. We never really got to that. But what would happen is because we're in the fines were so hefty that we really kind of kept ourselves in check, right? But what would happen in situations like say somebody on the other team, or if somebody on our team big leagued one, meaning
Yeah, hit a home
they
run.
hit a homer and they just stood there and like
pimped on them, right? Yeah,
leaned on them.
Oh, yeah.
rock with it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they tried to run the base. Okay, cool. All right, homeboy, we got you. And next thing you know, somebody threw behind his back.
Or high and tight up in chin
Music.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it would start setting the tone. You know, people would start getting upset about it. But we got close, but we never really was able to because fine money was back then. We didn't make enough.
Yeah, people have been mad at me because if I hit a home run, I'm definitely pimping.
As long as you don't stare at the pitcher or the opposing dugout, I think it's fine. If you're tracking the ball or you're looking at your own dugout, you're celebrating with your team to some regard. But if you stare the pitcher down, like, what's up? That's grounds. That's basis.
Let's go to station ID. I got a question.
We're still only on stream, so we're good. We'll be on radio for old school. We'll switch over in just a minute.
Oh, that's good.
But we're good for now.
All right, yeah. So Strick, I want to ask you. I had went to so Kirby Puckett was real good friends with my dad.
Minnesota.
Yep. And so
the what do they call them? Round. Boy, Kirby was like the little.
Kirby Puckett was 5'9", and listen,
little chubby.
He's Southside Chicago, and then as he started to go to stardom, that belly started getting big, but he still could get up he still could dunk.
Oh yeah.
Right? So the Yankees were in town. They had a cat.
He ran on his tiptoes.
Yeah, and he played center field. They listed him at 5'9". He wasn't number 5'8". But the Yankees were in town, and Mel Hall hit a home run. My man took like a minute and like 30 seconds.
Dang, he just stood there and parlayed.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, who was your favorite home run like celebration?
I can't say celebration wise, but I loved when Ken Griffey Jr. hit him.
Yeah, it just looked effortless.
It just looked effortless. Like he would just and then just go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there was a time when Sammy Sosa used to hit him and he had that little hop.
Yeah.
He would look and watch it and he would just get that little triple hop and then go down. I used to thought that was cool. Like I used to try to, duplicate those type of things. But
are you a fan or against the bat flip?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
I think
it's pretty dope.
Some of
it's a technique to it too.
Yeah, because they get some height on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Manny Ramirez when he hit it because he just hold it out there.
Oh yeah.
The dreads, the wrist.
Oh
flick.
yeah. Yeah, Manny was dope.
And he was doing his own. David Ortiz too.
Yeah.
But you want to hear a great story about David Ortiz?
What's that?
So I was just finished my rookie year, or going into the NFL, then finished my rookie year. My cousin was working at the Marriott, like down there by the Metrodome. That's where the Twins used to play. So he'd been working there for a couple years, and David Ortiz came up through the Twins. They had a little article. He didn't really know that good at English and stuff. And Carl Pohlad, who owned the Twins, was notoriously cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like the Arizona Cardinals, where they draft guys or bring them up to the farm system, not pay them,
ship them out,
like the Expos.
Mm-hmm,
all the guys that end up going to be Hall of Famers from the Expos. So my cousin kept telling me, he's like, man, I hope David Ortiz has a good year. And David Ortiz was in the Star Tribune, which is the Omaha World Herald here, and he's like, his goal going into the season, just imagine compared to now, he wanted to hit 20 home runs because that was the equivalent of being a power hitter. And he's like, I want to max out after 2 years of a new contract of making $1 million.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So he hit like his 20 home runs or whatever. And I remember meeting him, and he was big. He wasn't as big then. And he always little Dominican dude always like, what's up, brother? He talk real quick. And he's like, man, I hope he gives me this contract. I love Minnesota. I love it. I love the cold because all I can do is go there and get in the batting cage.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they offered this man $600,000. He goes to Boston now. He
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
$400,000 for David Ortiz. You chose to clamp up, and he had like his own section because they were looking for somebody to get behind after Kirby Puckett.
Mm-hmm,
So he was fan favorite. Didn't know a lot of English. Not like fluent.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That goes to show you right there just how, like, for example, we talked about this, how the Pac-12 dropped the ball.
Yeah, I heard
that's what it just goes to show you. It's very similar in sport. It can happen on the other side of things.
It can happen.
They did it with Steve Nash too.
If you can
down in Dallas,
overpay
or
underpay,
yeah.
or like you heard about Johnny Flynn. He was a Timberwolf. He was in the club. He signed his contract. Was in the club that night.
Mm-hmm.
Did he sign his contract at the club like Chandler Parsons did?
Now he might have. And Chandler Parsons, another one, hit them with the Fugazi or whatever. But the one thing I will say in negotiations, and this is true on both sides, if you overestimate, and I don't mind you asking for 50, right? But it's a huge jump to go from 30 to 50.
Right.
Why couldn't you say 35, 40?
That part, that's what we talked about.
Now, I also will say is like when somebody is like, say somebody's negotiating with you, like you could lose a player if you just come in and just giving them somebody, because what the guys are like now on principality, they'll just shut it down and go somewhere else based on that first initial offer.
Right.
So when you negotiate, you have to know the landscape of the market, but you have to know who you're negotiating with.
Fact.
That's where people are missing the market. If I'm the Pac-12, I can start at 30 and sign a 5-year or 6-year contract. And if I hit certain benchmarks after 3, we're already back at the table because then we're both in a beneficial situation versus you trying to come in there and get what the Big Ten get. You went from potentially partnering with the Big 12. Big 12 said, nah, you guys are weak. You guys are suspect because they probably knew some teams that were thinking about leaving. So then you were below the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
You're below the Big Ten. You're 5th in the Power 5 conferences. And you have the nerve to ask what the second largest or most powerful was the Big Ten type of money. What
in your mind?
Did you look in the mirror knowing
right.
Well, you were 5, thinking, oh man, I look good today. I'm a 10.
Feeling like a 10.
Yeah. You thinking you a 10 and you got left on read, right? When they say
that suit is crisp.
Or you got swiped left instead of right.
That sounds personal.
Right. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Austin, see,
this
is the problem with Strick, man. We just can't. Why can't we just have nice things? This is we having a nice
Thursday,
we just having a conversation, and then
until we're not.
Right, until we're not. Until we just gotta go to outer space.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the crossover.
Aside from Thursday, what's on old school?
But look at this. Look at it. We're gonna talk
He's proud of himself.
We're gonna talk about Michael Orr the situation there about
the new news that came out.
Yeah, it's a lot of news. And it's also, you dive into it because it made it kind of fashionable. And really, Gibbs from Detroit is kind of the same situation. So if he doesn't have that Britney Spears with her conservatorship and stuff, there's a lot of people that get taken advantage of by so-called close family members, whether you're athlete, entertainer. This is it, because that was a huge story. It helped Michael Orr, but it seemed like he ain't benefit of it. And his life story out there on Front Street as he goes along. So we're going to dive into that. Got DP, got his contractor in, so we got a lot going on.
Stick around for that. Jay will be here. Stricky sticking around for.
We know
Thirsty
Strick gonna be here. It's Thirsty Thursday.
We do.
Look at that. Look at him. Look at that grin though, man.
He's ready. He's ready.
Hey,
like
the Grinch.
Yeah, you got that great Kool-Aid smile on it. You know what I mean? With extra sugar.
Extra sugar.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, let's get it.
Good stuff. That'll be old school coming your way next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in order lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V
Is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the big sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out on nutrition.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. For siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
John Henry's Plumbing.
When it comes to your home repairs, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that, options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at